World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
This is Kia Rogers, and you're listening to Urbanology with my dad, Tony Rogers, on WHCR 90.3 FM New York.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope all is well, and I hope if you have not voted, you are on your way after the show to go and to do that. It's a wonderful tool if we use it correctly, and it's something that people have lost their lives, who've died and gone through a lot of agony to provide for this opportunity, which in some cases is being tried to roll back into the old days, that make America great again type concept. But we do have some ability, and I hope that you take advantage of that. It does help. Many of the places that you see that have cleaner streets and other types of amenities is basically because they go and vote for the person who's going to make sure that that happens and they have access to them. And we and in urban communities have to begin to focus and think that way. And if those who are in power do not do what they're supposed to do, we should have the ability and understand we have the ability to select those who can do that. So again, I just want to make sure that if you haven't, or you're deciding whether you are or not, after this show, you do go and do the right thing, as Spike says. I'm happy to have a guest on today that it allows for me to feel coming full circle. In 1974. A group of us put together an event called Harlem Day, and we created a kind of an activity that has created many different types of ways for people to go outside and see entertainment and have food and have vending and the things that really had not taken place before. And one of the events that I was happy to go to. Matter of fact, the last one is one that takes place on 12th Avenue every Thursday. November the 11th is the last Thursday. And it was just, I posted a lot of the stuff. Many of you who follow the tourism board's email, you'll, and Instagram and those things, you've seen some of that. But it was a wonderful event. And I said, I really would like for people to know him, to be on and connect them to my partner Matt McCoy, because we were talking off this in the back stage, and we were talking about many things that might be able to be worked out that we'll share. So, for those who would like to know the person who is really the motivating figure for the success of the Uptown market, I'd like for you to meet Marco Shelma.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, Marco, how are you doing, brother?
I'm doing very well, thank you. I'm about to hit. I'm about to go to vote right after this, but excited for a
Yeah,
new day in New York.
yeah, I would be in trouble if I didn't make sure that I do that. But one of the great things on WACR radio at this very moment, I'm, I have a show that was pre-recorded yesterday, so I have my leader, Assemblywoman Inez Dickens, on it. So I've kind of covered. When you do this for 50 years, you learn how to make sure you cover all your bases. Because
That's right.
that's very important. But I had heard about the Uptown market, the work that you were doing. I had not had a chance to get there for a host of reasons. I know the West Harlem Development Corporation is a part of that, and Judge Tingling is one of the board members of the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce, and he talked about it, and I was able to make the last one, and wow, it kind of made me. I said, wow, this is uh, something that has an interesting energy to it. And matter of fact, a few years ago, we did a Harlem Week event in that area before it even was built up. But the bottom line is that it was a wonderful event. I'm sure that other ones probably were just as well. We want to make sure. I don't know where we left and what you'll probably run into based on your success. There's always a penalty, is that you have too many people. We've run into that with Harlem Week, Grandstone, and other places that people, when they start talking about it, you start promoting it, and they start hearing how it is. You have to start either doing different spots or doing. That's how we grew, because we had to start doing different things. So, but tell us about yourself. Tell us a little bit about the event. But first, let people know who you are, so that we can understand your background.
Awesome. I just want to say, before that, that's going to be a good problem. Like when it gets like so busy like that, we are creative people, so we always kind of find another way to kind of serve our community in different ways and different aspects. And I think, like, for us, it's just a vehicle, and to kind of keep on doing great stuff. And by the way, you came to the right one. That was like a culmination of a few events that kind of went up into the pinnacle of last one. So I think you came right in time to see, like, us maturing as an organization. But my name is, I'm Marco Sharma. I'm born in South Africa, and parents Italian and Moroccan Jew. I've traveled around the world pretty, a lot, and been part of the hospitality business for most of my adult life. And I lived in New York. I've been in New York for the last 17 years. I started by living in St. Nicholas back in the day, and then I moved to the South Bronx, and now I'm back in Harlem on Fifth Ave, right by Marcus Garvey's Park. And you know, um, passionate about content, passionate about creating experiences, and passionate about supporting the kind of community that I feel passionate about, which is basically, you can see those elements in our in our vendors and in the music that we work with. um, our motto has always been community, cuisine, community, and culture. And for us, those three C's kind of represent who we are. The cuisine is what brings people together. There's never been a situation that we have any bad vibe in our event, because it's mainly focused around the food and great food from everywhere on the planet. We really kind of make sure to represent that. And the community, obviously, the aspect of like being local, making sure that you kind of, you don't come into an area and just force yourself over there. You celebrate what's in there. You work with the community to understand that. We work with like so many community partners, like Community Board 9, Harlem Park to Park, our main sponsors and champion of like the West Harlem Development Corporation, and Harlem Pride, different organizations, the Harlem Arts Alliance, and so on. And it's to amplify what we do through the community. And then you got the element of the culture, which is for us is reference, like when it comes to like music, dance, and art, and all those elements that come together. So, I am. I just have to say I am so grateful and so excited about the way that Harlem has welcomed us, and it motivates us to kind of work harder every event. And my team is so psyched. It's like what do we do next event to make it even better? To work on the Kings and to kind of get into like more place to kind of open the doors to more entrepreneurs to kind of come and showcase what they do, for the thousands of people that come and support, but also like in the realm of the art, the music, the visual. So it's exciting. It's been a hell of a journey, but it's really exciting stuff.
Well, again, there's so many things happening in that area too. With a little longevity, you will come into some of the new development, as you probably know, with Columbia University, which is a component. West Harlem Development Corporation is a component of Columbia, which was part of the deal when Columbia started to expand. They had to develop an entity that would give back to the community, and that's how the West Harlem Development Corporation.
And it's important, like if I'm not mistaken, I think Columbia University surpassed the Catholic Church as the biggest landlord or landowner in the state of New York, or something like that, right?
In New York, a lot of the land, and so it was their land, but of course there was a lot of pushback. Harlem Hospital, people don't realize how much Columbia owns, but they had to make sure that as much as they could do the right thing, and that's how the West Harlem Development Corporation came about. That's how the funding developed, is to work with events, community, Harlem Week, so many different other activities that the West Harlem Development Corporation has been able to do as part of the deal with Columbia for their expansion, which in itself, from a tourism standpoint and from an economic development standpoint in other areas, such as what you're doing, that expansion is going to be massive. A hotel is coming up right by the subway. And there are other things. One of our chamber members is putting together an event called the Harlem Rocket, which would be a speedboat that goes from Harlem. It goes around and it speeds back, and that'll be right on the pier. So I can now see how many things begin to.
Well, that area itself, and let's be honest, that area itself lends itself to so many kind of cool things, like underneath the arches over there, the entire area by the water. I think I became passionate about that about 15 years ago when there was a restaurant, and I keep telling that story. That's the origin story. There was a restaurant called Kovo over there
Kovo.
And I used to go to that restaurant every Sunday. I had a couple hours off, and I used to have that eggplant pasta that they have, and it was mind blowing. It was so good, and that period of time, that area, the entire area was buzzing. There was restaurants and bars and clubs and lounges, and it looks like it's kind of picking up to be a better South Seaport than
and I think that part of that came from marketing, doing certain things that are coming together. But I'm a little older. I remember there used to be so much activity. People used to swim off the pier. The water, and there used to be a boat. Matter of fact, Inez Dickens had her first ship boarding for her fundraiser in June at the pier. But that was something that took place years ago. There used to always be a Father's Day boat ride to Bear Mountain. So there was a lot of activity over the years. Obviously things changed, but at one point there was a beach there.
Really?
It was a beach route right on 155th Street. Where they have that. There used to be a beach.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of history there that a lot of people, just don't remember. But it's you're in an area where there's certain types of energy that is still there. I believe in energy and spiritual components, and sometimes it's not necessarily sacred ground, but it's a ground where a lot of activities are taking place over a number of decades.
Listen, we see that. We work around the city. We work in the Bronx. We do some stuff in like other boroughs or like upstate, and none of those locations that we were has that energy to start with. It's there's something cosmic. There's something different, where it lends itself with the arches, by the water, the community that comes, the two entrances, the flow of the people. I think it just we all recognize that it's something special, and like yes, we organize this, but at the bottom line, we are just we running with it the way that it wants to be. I believe that like something wants to become, and we just like the tool, the vessel to kind of help it become what it wants to become.
Yeah, like the curator. I mean, the art. You just position the art so people can see it better.
Exactly. Exactly. We're not the artists. We are as individuals and as a company. Our obsession is to connect like entrepreneurs. Predominantly entrepreneurs of color. Like if you look at our vendors. 85% of them are entrepreneurs of color, Black and Latinos and Caribbean and whatnot. And then about 75% of them are female-owned businesses, which kind of represent also like who we are as a company, Master Hospitality. And that's always been a passion of ours to kind of really just say like, hey, this is like, we want to support whoever looks like us, immigrants, people of color, female entrepreneurs. And it's kind of like it's not just a job. It's more than that.
Now, tell us a little bit more about your company and some of the projects that you've worked on and some of the things that you've worked on in marketing.
Absolutely. So we until Uptown Night Market, we were known for Bronx Night Market, which was one of the top three outdoor food markets in the city. And we opened that in about 4 years ago in Fordham Plaza, where it was kind of like unheard of. Nobody thought about doing that in Fordham Plaza in the Bronx, bringing like a food festival that celebrated that. But we knew we were a little bit crazy, but we went with that. So we were known for that. We work consistently with different organizations like Botanical Garden, New York Roadrunners, City Park Foundation when it comes to Summer Stage, the New York Ferries. So we have that kind of pedigree of working with like some city-state organization or creating like some pop-ups when it comes to food and merchants and supporting small businesses. And it's just because of the way that we do business, those organizations feel comfortable with us. Our big shot, and I tell you something, like when the pandemic hit, our team was like since 2017, my team is like completely remote. When pandemic hit, I remember like I came back to the country. I was in Colombia and I came back on like March 11, and we were supposed to have our next event in March 14. Obviously, it did not happen. Our entire team went into kind of like focus mode to kind of cancel and delay most of our event, and then we spent the next month thinking, what are we going to do? I didn't want to let anybody go because we connected. This is a team that's running with me for like a few years. We start thinking, and then we came out with the idea to do it in a drive-in. Now, we did not invent the driving concept, but at the time when we launched the driving, it's like the Uptown driving experience in Yankee Stadium, it went crazy viral. I'm talking about we were doing interviews in Philippines and India and the entire world. Like, we actually set the trend to driving to come back. We were the first one in the
and
world.
and and tell what did that entail, the driving?
That was nuts. It was so crazy because we had to convince the landowner to kind of let us do that, because this, I'm talking about April. I'm talking everybody's seeing dark. Nobody's seeing an end of that. We are in the middle of the pandemic. New York and the universe is shutting down. But we knew that we had to do something to kind of keep morale up, and it was difficult because insurance company did not know how to insure that. Landlords did not know what use they're going to get or what kind of permit they're going to be able to do that. But it all came together so magically because people needed some sort of feel of normalcy. We went out with the project in like the end of April. We were able to kind of put it together by mid-May, and we started doing that. And we started putting up some movies. So we had a bunch of cars coming in, but we know also like a lot of the demographic that we work with don't have cars. So we created like little spots and picnic tables for like families to come over there and support. Obviously, first responders. We used to kind of like donate a bunch of like tickets or whatnot to first responders, and it just got bigger and bigger. And it kept my sanity, because I don't know what I would do if like not doing anything for like a year or something like that. And it kept us busy on doing that. But that opened the door for us to help other entrepreneurs, and also then work with the city, with New York City Department of Transportation and EDC and SBS, to take that model and to kind of break it down and expand it so other people can come in and do that, and basically open the door for that. So, and it was exciting. We did not expect for that to blow up as well as it did. But sometimes timing is better than anything else, right, Tony?
That's right. It's all about timing.
It's all about timing, and it was a perfect storm, for us to do that. And coming off that, I realized, and I've been trying to work with like with West Harlem for a while now. And then there was a change of leadership in West Harlem Corporation. Zihad Ramadan, great friend, great person. He came into the role, and I think it was like my last attempt of like reaching out. I said like, okay, you know what, just one more time. And he got the email because he became the new executive director.
Right.
And immediately was like, I love this idea. Let's talk. And then from there, it just ran, because sometime how it is. All you needed one person to believe in you and believe in the idea, and then the doors start opening. And then the judge, came in and helped open other doors. And then before you know it, in like 3 months or 4 months, we were able to kind of go ahead and do that. So.
Well, the judge is how Harlem Week got involved, because he's on the board of the chamber.
Oh, he's great. They came, I think like the first time I met Voza and the judge is when Zihad brought them to the Bronx Night Market. And I think like what really impressed both of them was the fact that in our event is you can see any demographic that you can look at. You can see kids, and all the way to like old folks. We had like handicapped people, wheelchair. We had like different representation for LGBTQ communities, everything, and everybody felt comfortable. Everybody felt, it's like this event is dedicated to me, and I think like this is like one of the things that we try and do the most is create amazing experiences that are affordable and make people feel welcome, and I don't know if you noticed that, Tony, but one of the things that we kind of represent, and this is something that we really work hard on, is we don't bring security to our event. We ask NYPD to stand in the front, not to kind of walk around. It's about creating a dynamic and a vibe. We said like, let's eat together, let's drink together, let's dance together, enjoy ourselves, each other's company, and then go back home and smile, and get some good pictures out of it, and see you next month.
Well, I know that the event that I went to was all of that and some. Plus, my good friend the captain.
Man,
We
people are
were,
still talking about that
yeah,
performance.
we were at the Harlem Arts Alliance meeting. Not too, and he's the one that said, "Hey, you know where I'm going to be." So I got a lot of different um, messages that this is where I should be, and I'm so happy that I was able to go there. When I did, I said, "Oh, we got to get this guy." I said, "Matt, this is something that's really good, And I know festivals. I've been doing it for 50 years. So when I saw that, I realized that it's a lot of work to go into doing stuff like that. I mean, the greater part of my life, I've been, doing that, especially when no one is used to having that type of footprint in doing things. We did an event in the same area a few years ago, and it was it was just so much that needed to be done. So when you walk into an event like that and you've gone through that, you can appreciate the fact that that just does not happen. There's a lot of work, a lot of handshaking, a lot of give and go in order to make that happen. And even with us, I mean, with Harlem Week, it's still, through Wisdom and Jet and the rest of them, meetings, with the parks, the police department, the parks department, every city agency. And what happens after that, which most people don't understand, once it's over, you still have a commitment as far as with the sanitation to clean up. You got to have a bond in order to do all of those things. So,
but you're right. It's kind of like
it's a lot. It's a lot to do.
Yep. It is a lot. Sometimes people don't get that because they think that we can kind of move things around or whatnot. But I keep telling the team, like, I think like the harder we work, the less it looks like anybody's working on it anyway.
Exactly.
So when you see an event, when you go, and we know that, Tony, when you go into an event and it seems like it's working really well, you know how much hard work it came into doing that, because
a lot of meetings
go wrong, it will go wrong, and you need to troubleshoot this entire thing, and you need to plan, and like you said, tens of meeting pre-production, like phone calls, emails, whatnot, and it's not even about the promotion part of it. I'm not even talking about the promotional stuff. So when I got crazy appreciation when I go to like event, and I'm like, it feels like it's so seamless, and I know like how hard it is to get to that point. So
and you can imagine doing the same thing every day for almost 2 months. That's where some of the younger people are dealing with that. But
that is a crazy lift,
we have like almost 112 events, in a month and a half. So so every day is like an event that most people take years to make. But again, for those who are listening, November the 11th is the last event for this year. But when will you be starting your scheduling and information about 2022?
So right after the event, right after November 11th, in the season finale, which is going to be even extra special, like we going all out, just to say thank you for the community. Right after that, we're going to put all the information on the website. I think, the website's over there, uptownnightmarket.com, or through our Instagram, which is Uptown Night Market. And then we'll give the information. We are already getting to work towards like an April relaunch in April.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is to do it once a month, from April to November. And I think like I want to reference like that. You mentioned earlier about like, people are, enjoying that and more crowd and whatnot. And people already ask me like, Mark, can you do it like more often than once a month? And I'm like, nope. It's a lot of work. But you know what, also, I think something this, when you make an event once a month, and this is strategically, people put it in the calendar, they get done up, they get ready, they call their
Mhm.
friends, they call their families, that, and they come out to have a good time. When you make it like every week or every 2 weeks, the mentality is like, well, it's every week or every 2 weeks, we'll go
I'll
somewhere.
get it the next time, right?
Yes. And like when it's once a month, you can't miss it, and especially next year when it's like we're gonna put more thematic, like spring and in May, and it's gonna be like more. Each event is gonna be curated thematically with the month, with the different activities that's happening in New York, and
Mhm.
and different partnerships such as like the ones that we've had with you guys, and more of that. And I think Harlem is gonna have a kick, and no, I'm not going to say anything bad because our next mayor is probably, going to be like a Brooklyn guy. But I will say this: our
But
goal is to dethrone Brooklyn as the culinary, go-to place in New York, and make sure that Harlem gets to be that. Like I'm not declaring war on Brooklyn, but I am saying it's time for a new, culinary destination. Of not only Harlem is already a culinary destination, like universal culinary and tourism, but when it comes to street food, we want to bring the crown uptown.
well, that's going to be interesting. I know there's a lot of competition now that Brooklyn seems to be hitting most of our major, especially after tonight. Brooklyn will be in the house. As I had mentioned, I'm taking a group of people to um, Senegal in March, and I met with the Senegalese representative ambassador who went to City College actually, uh, and he said that Eric Adams was down, and he was saying, "Yeah, Harlem is there, but Brooklyn is coming." So it's some friendly competition that we have, but he will be the first to let you know that he has been put into that Harlem mind, and he will continue to do that. But I agree with you. You have that ability to do that. And as you start to go along, especially with Soul City, New York, Harlem Community News, and some of the things that's in our network, we hope that we will be able to create a situation where people understand the story, because as you know, in marketing, the event is great, but once you put the story behind it, it then begins to create a different type of an image and understanding of what you're saying. And the things that you just said, which actually this interview will be on the Chamber's Facebook site and the Harlem Tourism Board Facebook back. Matter of fact, you have to become a member of the Harlem Tourism Board so that we can help promote that. It begins to put a face behind an event, and it begins to develop a story, which attracts a lot more resources, whether it's sponsors or people who just want to identify with something that's positive, as you were mentioning.
Yeah, I mean, coming from like marketing and film, education, story is everything, and being able to tell a good story, and having a good story to tell beyond the brand or whatnot. I think it's kind of so. I'm honestly, I'm more excited than I've been in a long time for
Mhm.
the possibilities and opportunities to kind of work with, such an incredible community. Both patrons and community that's surrounding that. And it's been a great journey so far. And we're just in the beginning. And I really want to make sure that we are integral part of what's happening in Harlem, and making sure that like the community has amazing, incredible options of and affordable options to celebrate, who we are, and that's
which
exciting for me.
which is important. You had mentioned a couple of times that you had some experience in films. What did that entail?
So I first, this is kind of, I came to New York when I was like late 20s, 30, and I knew all my life I wanted to come to New York. And the reason was like, I grew up on Spike Lee, and I grew up on Woody Allen movies, it kind of telling the story and having the city of New York be a character in those movies. And for me it was just, it was just, without without a question, that's what I wanted to do. I started my career in advertising. I worked like, as like a copywriter, then an account manager for different kind of brands, did a bunch of good campaigns, and then went to NYU grad school for filmmaking. Um, it is an experience. It was an experience. Quickly afterwards, I realized that like the entrepreneurship kind of bug is in me. I want to do more than that. But that education in film and marketing is, as relevant today as it's always been. And you can tell it by the work that we do, whether it's like, through mass hospitality or the individual brand, the way that we promote, the way that we do with the social media campaign and the marketing and the advertising, it's very unique to us. We set trends within the industry that we work on, doing things a lot more aggressive, a lot more creative stuff that you don't normally see in this kind of organization of like, food markets or whatnot. And we go all out, and people respond tremendously. It does also help, Tony, that we're in the age of hashtag food porn, and and that's kind of like the most, it helps a lot. But and we're grateful for that. Like you said, timing is everything. But it takes a wise man to know when timing is right and being able to kind of work with that. So I think like you know everything in my life, my education, my upbringing, my background from like South Africa through Italy, Morocco, Israel, everything kind of brings me to where it is today, and to have an amazing team that works with me, and to meet amazing people such as yourself and Voza and the judge and Matt and other people, to be able to be part of something that is incredible that's happening over here. And I'm just excited, fully energized and excited.
Well, again, a lot of that energy, Barco, is seen in the work. I think that those who have not had the opportunity to experience this event, again, put on your calendar. What are the times? November the 11th.
We start at 4 o'clock. It's daylight saving is happening this weekend, so 4 o'clock
week,
might be already a little bit like four. I think sunset is 4:45 or something like that. So, and I'm excited about it because I think like the underpass under the bridge looks so much great when we light it up with different brand colors and whatnot. But we start at 4 p.m. and we go all the way to 10 p.m. And the lineup, the musical performance lineup, is stacked to the brim, and we have so many great exciting things. And as always, there's a ton of free giveaways, whether it's like different drinks from our sponsors or t-shirts or aprons or bags and stuff like that. So we always recommend to come early, because when you come early, it's all while supply lasts.
That's especially with some of the vegetarian meals that you guys had. If you're early, you might. If you're late, you might not even, not to mention the line, there might not be any left, because, lines form up before they open.
You're right. And when we started, it's always like a fine tune, right? So like we brought a certain amount of food vendors in the beginning, and then we realized that people were waiting for 45 minutes to an hour in line. Nobody was complaining. The vibe was still great because the music is playing and everybody's happy. But we understand it's like a lot, and while wanting to kind of maintain that us vendors will make some money, we added a little bit more for the second event, and they all sold out, and people waited a little bit less. So for last event, it was like the most we've had so far. This event, we going all out. We have about 12 extra vendors, food vendors.
Wow.
We want to make sure that, and we have great new vendors. We mentioned a few names like they're killing the game, like Black Rican Vegan and Nada's Vegan. Which vegan food is the hottest thing right now. And those two businesses, which are female owned, they're doing incredible stuff. So I urge everybody to come and check. The lineup is on the website right now. So all the vendors are on the website. You can see exactly who's coming. You can follow them, and you can come in. I always recommend to come to our events with stretchy pants, and a big appetite, and be comfortable of eating well and take lots of photos.
Now, do you have this is breaking news. Do you have any uh, confirmed performance for your last event,
Oh yeah,
or is
I
that a
mean,
secret?
it's not a secret anymore because I think like we just added that on the website. You know,
Uh-huh.
I think even today we just added it on the website, but um, we have three amazing performances. I think like one of the greatest things that we've had is like we created a partnership with like Harlem late night jazz. You know,
Mhm.
Dakota Pippins and C Kelly, and
Yeah,
they've
Dakota.
been they've been fantastic and monumental in us kind of putting things together. You know,
Mhm.
and it's just a pleasure for them to, you know, for us this partnership to grow and each time to have this conversation about how we what are we doing next event, how do we get it
Mhm.
better. So we have our opener is Sister Zoc, you know, that's going to do a bunch like a wild blend of like jazz and hip hop and soul
Mhm.
music. So that's going to be fantastic. Then we have like a sonic soul band, like, you know, like basically it's like an all-star group that's going to bring a few musicians, like quite a few musicians, and it's going to, you know, just hit up on all those like good songs that everybody loves. And we're gonna finish with DJ Cozy. It's the last set that we've had over there in October. DJ Cozy came in and really just, you know, did a number on people, and
Mhm.
I have not seen that kind of energy anywhere in anywhere that we do the event. Like, you know, so I think like it will be just appropriate to do that. And then there's a few special, you know, special surprises,
Mhm.
special guests throughout the evening. Those I can't tell you yet, but
Mhm. Yeah.
I'll tell you offline. You know, but I want people to come and have a great surprise to see like what's happening.
Well, again, one of the things that we'll do is to see how through Soul City. Matter of fact, as I had mentioned before, um, people I'll suggest to people, whether it's the Chamber or the Harlem Tourism Board, to watch this particular piece because it's an interesting event. The picture that you showed uh, uh, is great, but the energy of the that picture is also something that was very, you know, every people were having a good time, you know, and there were really no bad vibes, you know, and there was a lot of people there. So, you know, it's going to be interesting how that works itself out. But it it was a lot of work. That's when I see that, when I experience it, which is why I said I gotta, you know, kind of connect with this guy. When I saw Dakota, I said, Dakota, I need to see him. And it's funny because he said, "Oh, you need Marco." And at first I said, "Is my Marco?" Because you know Marco
Yeah,
Nobles does. I called Marco. I said, "Marco,
Marco
is it
also does
you?"
the marketing for you guys, right? He's like,
Right.
yeah,
He does. He was, you know, he used to be my intern many years ago. But I mean, Marco, Winston Majette,
oh
a
yeah,
lot of the people came through me. I was, you know, when I was more active, a little younger, I did with all dealt with all of the city agencies, so they all kind of came through me. Even uh, Michael Preston, who's bringing the Harlem Rocket, you know, to the pier. You know, I introduced him to Harlem Week. So you know, it's been 48 years, man. So you know, it's been a long time as relates to doing this type of stuff as a side. You know, not because it wasn't, you know, it wasn't necessarily full time, but by doing it though, I can appreciate the work.
yeah,
When you are involved with these types of things, you know that every day may be a different day as it relates to some of the things that you're talking about, and then it's the stuff that you don't know. You
yeah.
know, whether it's the weather,
Oh
or
man,
all kinds of things. Matter of fact,
the stories I could tell you.
how do you handle the weather issue?
Well, I don't know if you remember, but our first event was scheduled for like July 8th, and July 8th was the day of the big flood that we
Right,
hit
right,
on, and we at that time, you know, we weren't scheduled to be underneath the underpass, underneath the bridge. We
right.
were up on the hill on 135th to
Yeah,
138,
right, right.
and you know, we came in. It was the first event of the season. We came in energetic. We knew the weather is going to be bad, but we thought, you know, we kind of had a conversation with DEP the day before. I thought it's going to be fine. You know, they kind of promised me the sewerage are kind of they're going to last. Nobody expected the kind of rain is going to come over there. Within we set it all up. You know, we got ready. We it was like what 3:30 p.m. 30 minutes before the opening, and then the rain came down, and I have never seen such heavy rain. When I'm telling some people, like, I tell them like the rain was so heavy. People are like, what do you mean the rain was there? I said those drop was not, you know, there was like buckets drop, you know, and all I remember is, you know, and I have pictures of that of my team taking pictures. I'm walking past. I got water up to my knee, and tents are breaking down from how heavy the waterfall is. And we knew, like, you know, like, and we all set up and ready to go, and we just, you know, we had to cancel that because of safety, because of everything,
Mhm.
and send the team home to kind of mitigate that experience, you know. So let people know that we not be part of that. The next event, there was a rain scare, but we knew we under the arches. So unless it was something insane, we would have been protected, you know. And then October, that was the funny thing. We had to wait till October to have that perfect weather day. If you remember, that day was sky was blue, it wasn't windy, the temperature was comfortable, and I thought it's kind of funny that we're in New York, and the July, August, and September dates were not that great of a weather, but the October date is the most perfect weather we've had all year, you know.
Yeah.
And then some people there say there's no global warming and stuff like that, right?
Well,
But
you know, it's interesting you say that. Uh, uh, the first in 1974, our first Harlem Day, it was one of the hardest rains that had been reported on record, and we were young, and we were talking about closing our streets. Nobody we had stages, and you know, so what happened is there's a National Black Theater, which is Barbara Ann Tier, when she was alive. She came out and they did a piece, and she said that when it rains like this, that's a blessing from our ancestors, that we will go forward, you know, under their blessings. It's like, you know, the tribute.
absolutely,
And that's the story of Harlem Week. It started in the rain and it grew to Harlem Weeks. So when you
yeah,
get the rain like that, you know, it's two ways to look at it. It's just could be one of the blessings that allow for you to know that you're working with your ancestors.
I'm 100% with you on that one, and I keep telling something like that. When we do like a festival that predominantly around the food, and I say like you guys understand that there's no rain mean no food, you know. Period. You know, at the bottom line, rain is a blessing. You know, we need the rain to grow the food. We need the rain to grow the vegetables or the animals or whatnot, and so yes, rain sometimes can be like inconvenience. That's what we are. You know, our event is rain or shine. You know, we go on even if it's outdoor or whatnot, because you know there's always people that are going to come in and celebrate with you. You know, put umbrellas or whatnot. But you know, yeah, that July 8th was a little bit more than we could handle. That was like I think that was the first time that I shot. I closed an event. You know, but it was just it was public safety. It was my vendor safety. It's my team. You know, there's no negotiation when it comes to like, the safety of the
Right.
people.
Now, as we start to wrap up, do you have any plans of anything between now and April, or are you just going to focus on your April schedule?
Well, you know, the first we right now we working. You know, past this event that's coming up, we have another event. We have a harvest festival in the Bronx, and then we do a pop up with the botanical garden. So Botanical Garden every year has like the holidays, holiday series, which is like the bar
Mm-hmm.
car night that they do. And the
Mm-hmm.
last couple of years, they added like the glow, which is like a neon, super, thousands and thousands of lights throughout the park, throughout the garden. So we are the official food partner with them, organizing and coordinating. The good news is that we have discount code and free tickets, and we raffling a ton of tickets. We have over 300 tickets to raffle, and food tickets and drinks and whatnot. So
Mm-hmm.
we will be like sending that throughout our social media for community to kind of engage and be able to come up and do that. It's funny because a lot of like our community, like Uptown and the Bronx, tells us that they haven't been to the Botanical Garden since the PS days, or like
Mm-hmm.
middle school, and I find it funny because it's such a great vibe.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, in January, Tony, I'm gonna take like a much needed 6 weeks, break, because I need to recharge the batteries. We're still dealing with a creative business. If in order to kind of be relevant, you have to reinvent yourself every season. You know more than me.
Yeah.
You guys been doing 48 years of like the Harlem Week, Harlem Day to Harlem Week to Harlem Weeks, and it's a year-round planning and conversation and creative and whatnot. So so we want to come back and always keep the surprise factor and the wow factor. And in order to do that, we have to we have to kind of refill those batteries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, maybe you should look at. We're going to Senegal from March 13th to March 20th. So maybe you put that on your calendar. Maybe you can.
Maybe I was in Senegal before, and I think like it's an incredible place,
Yeah.
and the food and the people, it's
Yeah.
it sounds pretty exciting. And you're going with
Yeah.
a large group, right?
Yeah, about 40 to Harlem Tourism Board. The Senegalese government. We've been working for about 5 years to try to do something, but their administration changed at least twice, and you
Yeah,
know how that goes. But Air Senegal now leaves from JFK to Dakar,
yeah,
so now the marketing and promotional components are a little greater. So they wanted the tourism board, and I have a new tour and travel business, Ottawa Tour and Travel. So that will be an interesting trip. And we're going really to look at how we can begin to do different things as relates to creating some partnerships, especially with Air Senegal. They have a major jazz festival in May in Senegal that a lot of people are not aware of it. A lot of people from Europe are aware of it. But so we're looking at doing some things. I'm talking to Craig Harris, who's another person that probably you need to meet. He has a wonderful jazz series that goes on the Harlem Jazz Box, and of course Robin Bell from the Jazzmobile to look at, and Matt to look at some of those options that we might be able to do in different parts of
yeah.
Africa. But again, my friend, I appreciate you taking some time to share some of the information that is behind the scene. We see all of the stuff in front,
Yeah,
but we don't always see the things that make it happen, and
yeah.
the people who make it happen.
I'm grateful
And
for you to have me over here. I really appreciate the opportunity.
well, I appreciate it. And what we'll do is to stay in contact. I will work with you and Matt because I believe that we haven't even began to explore what could happen when we talk about on demand and television and all of that type of stuff as relates to other types of projects that we can work on. So that's major. And as we have mentioned, if all things go as I would think that they will be, we'll have the first Black-owned TV studio in Harlem. And that, again, provides all kinds of opportunities to do things or collaborate with some of the stuff that you're doing. So those are the things that are, 2022 is going to be an interesting time, as you can imagine. But I will make sure, rain or shine, God willing, that I'll see you on November the 11th. I'm going to come there early because I saw the lines. I have to admit, Matt stood on. I was too hungry to stand on the line, but I'm going to come early so that I can take advantage of some of the food and entertainment
and the good thing is we're looking at good weather. A little chilly, 60s, but no rain and no wind. So far, fingers crossed, blessing and prayers. But
it may be 80 degrees the way global warming is. You never know.
Like it could happen. But at the moment, we're looking more like at 60 degrees. No wind. So we'll take it. For November, we'll take it.
That sounds good, and we'll be with you, Ray Lashad. And thank you again, Marco, for taking the time to let us have this conversation. And this is only the beginning of a long-term relationship. I'm sure that there are things that we haven't even thought about that may be the connect. So we'll talk about that and make it happen.
I look forward to that. I appreciate you having me on your show today, sir, and being kind as you are. And I look forward to working together and just bringing some more cool, amazing, affordable stuff for our community,
and some good food.
Hey.
Okay, thank you, my man. We'll be in contact. I will take the lead in creating a meeting with you and Matt soon, because I think that everyone is starting to work on 2022 now, and we would like to make sure that we're on your schedule and you're on ours, so that we can
that would be fantastic.
Make this happen.
I really look forward to this.
Okay, take care, my friend. Thanks for the time, Marco Sama. And that pretty much is the show for today. Next week, we have our MWBE Small Business Program with Columbia University and Charlene De La Cruz. And if many of you who follow, I had Michael Clay on a couple of weeks ago, who was talking about a wonderful new program that DASNY was in the process of creating, which would change the game for those who are wishing to, especially in construction, in the construction business, small businesses. So that program has launched, and he, as he promised, will give us the details next week also. So if you know anyone who is in carpentry, plumbing, or any type of construction-related business, they would want to see this, because it gives them a chance to do things that has never been done before. This will probably be a model for the rest of the country, hopefully. But nevertheless, DASNY has, under the leadership of Michael Clay, has been the first out of the gate, and that will be an interesting show. So thank you again. Thanks to Soul City TV, WACR 90.3 FM. And if you have not already, please go out and vote. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
This is Kia Rogers, and you're listening to Urbanology with my dad, Tony Rogers, on WHCR 90.3 FM New York.